The great University of Johannesburg isn't just a place of lectures and exams. It's a place where creativity thrives, where students hustle, and where futures are being reimagined every single day. This is Student Spotlight, where stories of young creatives who are turning their passions into purpose are being told.
I am Kopano Malesela, and I'm currently studying my honors in film and television. I think storytelling for me, it's a process. It does not take only films. It is beyond films. And storytelling means a lot of things. It means social change to me. It means giving people voices that don't have the voices to speak for themselves. Through films, through fashion, through, we can even say mathematics, through everything. Storytelling is in every aspect of our lives. And it's a matter of how do you tell your stories through the medium that you think you are best comfortable with. I think the world we are currently living in is full of social media allows, which is great, a lot of opinions on a lot of matters, and it's where we get to understand what other people are thinking about different things. And as a filmmaker, what I do, or my main thing is, I would like to tell stories that relate to other people, but also are very close to me. So as much as everyone, there's a lot of content going on, people can put a camera in front of themselves and they create content and they create opinions and they lead opinions. But for me as a filmmaker, the most important thing is, number one, what kind of stories am I telling? Are they relevant to the audience I'm trying to tell? Number three, am I understanding what I'm saying? And cautions behind the sensitivity of the topic that I'm speaking about. And most of the time, I like to speak about identity and fashion. I think that is one thing that I always relate to, and I think other people relate to, because as human beings, we're always evolving in terms of who we are. And I think stories about identity are always relevant no matter the time. Being a tutor, I think for me, one other method of learning is also teaching. So teaching students, I take that as discussions where I also go back to my own self and say, this is what I learned from them. So being a tutor, being a student leader, it's a way of also reflecting on me. What are my capabilities? Where do I miss? It's also a way of improving myself. So more than teaching, I think it's a way of learning, of retaining information. And this is where we are. We said access to necessities such as school shoes for children is a major problem in underdeveloped or developing countries like South Africa. So the first sentence, as you can see, we are not even touching on the company, but we are touching on the social problem the company is trying to fix. So that's how you introduce. You don't just say, we are this, we are trying to do this. But the broader aspect of things. What are you trying to do? What is a social problem you're trying to fix? And here is a lack of school shoes or access to school shoes, which is the problem we are trying to solve, or the problem this company is trying to solve. I think looking at the University of Johannesburg, basically taking a deep insight into how UJ is. There's a lot of societies that are focusing on people are doing law, people are doing accounting. There's a lot of societies that are catering on specific career fields, but I found that there's no specific society that focuses on people who are creative. And creativity does not mean people who are from the Faculty of Arts, Design and Architecture or Faculty of Humanities, but a person can be creative while doing engineering. But there's no specific society that says we are a community that focuses on enhancing the creativity of students. Creativity meaning in photography, in fashion, in filmmaking, in styling, in music, in art. There's no society that said we are focusing on sharpening your skills in that. And to me, it became important to create, number one, not just a society, but a community of people who are going to work together and basically help each other build our own portfolios. I think when you take upon a lot of roles, you need to know how to manage time so that you fully immerse yourself in each role. And also, in every leadership position I've taken, surprisingly, I learned a lot more about myself other than leadership itself. I learned how do I react in specific situations. And when you look back and say, you know what, this is how I reacted, I could improve. So leadership for me has been, Kopano, when we are facing this situation, what are you going to do? Because it takes you in, now I understand when people say in this role we need experience. And I think those situations that leadership put yourself into is the experience. What have you learned out of being in this? People fighting, what are you doing as a conflict manager? So I think to me it's basically the experience of being in different situations and how did I react to them and how did that teach me about myself and what I'm capable of doing. Intentional to study film, and also to some extent I knew that one day I'm going to not necessarily lead but be part of something or a society that is creative, and with it not being there I was like, it is now upon my hands to form it and to come up with it. And I would say I've always been a leader in everything I'm involved in, and I guess my attention to detail, not even I guess, I know my attention to detail is what makes me, I would say, be able to communicate with people, be able to work with people well. And most of the time, there's that trust between me and the people I'm leading that I'm capable of leading them, and I'm also learning from them. So to me, leadership came naturally. I think number one, what it needs is audacity. When you start something new, it only makes sense to you at that time. So for you to, for other people to be able to understand it, you need to be able to communicate it well. And also, I'm not working in a silo, I'm not working alone. There's always a team that is behind everything that we see on social media or the uniform that we are wearing. There are always people contributing to what we call the UJ Fashion Collective. It's also that team that ensures that the way we view UJ Fashion Collective or its growth is possible. So I would say it takes audacity, it takes courage, it takes believing in yourself and believing in what you want to do, and understanding that no one at the point of the conception of the idea gets it but you. So you are the driver of this vision, and without being brave, it will die, because you won't have the courage to recruit people, you don't have the courage to explain it to people, to take it to UJ management, to get it approved, to, those kind of processes and administration. It takes courage, time management, bravery, a good working team, and people who are passionate about basically growing in fashion, in photography, in modeling. That's a good question. I think, fashion, it is part of every student's life, even though we may not mention it. There's always a saying by students who say, drip is forever, but hunger is temporary. That's how much dressing up and looking good means to a lot of students, because it now communicates to other people the kind of people they are. And film is also everywhere. We are watching series every day. We are watching either on your phone or on your laptop or on your TV. So the intersection of both is, how about we capture what students are wearing and what they are interested in and their aspirations and everything, because fashion is a language. It communicates what people want, what do they want to become, where do they see themselves. And film is a medium just to capture and also to document those processes. I would like to say, I would like to look back and see the impact that I've created, the mark that I've left. I don't want just to leave a place and go with my degree. What have I done in the duration of my coursework? What impact have I left? And I think impact is not just on, we are human beings. So what type of impact have I left on the people I've been working with, the people I've been teaching, my colleagues, the people I lived with at rest. So basically humanness, Ubuntu, more than anything. Have I impacted you in a way that made you change your perspective? Have we discussed, have we had discussions where we open each other's brains and perspectives? So that is the kind of impact I would like to leave, and something when I look back and say, you know what, I've left my mark. If you go to UJ and go to this place and ask them who Kopano is, they will say sit down and let's have a coffee. That's kind of the kind of impact I would like to leave. I would say there's no perfect time to start. There's no amount of preparation that will prepare you to start something. There's no amount of resources that will be perfect for you to start. So do not wait for, okay, by this time I will have this amount of money. I will say there's no amount of preparation that will get you ready to start something. Yeah, we start with what we have. There's no amount of resources that you can say, okay, if I have this, then I can start. If I have this amount of money, this equipment, you're always going to be short of something, and you're going to learn as you're doing it. And I think having less resources is also, to some extent, to a larger extent, it is a disadvantage, but it's also an advantage, because with the limited resources, it forces you to be creative on what can I create with these limited resources that I have. So the advice is, start now. Start with what you have. Do not wait for resources. Do not wait for support. Do not wait for money or anything, because you are always going to want it or to be short of it. Start with what you have and work towards the goals.